2 games. 2 games in a row. Now, I'm gonna be real. I don't have to address the elephant in the room. Yesterday's game against the Magic was pretty damn ugly, bro. We watched it on the live stream for this channel. We saw what a Shaq and the Fool moment happen live on TV. We also saw something that really pisses me off more than anything else, and that is missed fast break attempts. I'm not even going to attempt to show you some of those missed fast breaks because this video would be way too long because of how many of them there were just in yesterday's game alone. But all in all, what's important is a win is a win is a win, and the Knicks managed to get a win in yesterday's game. And also too, if we talking about, you know, a lot of players who stat pad and this, that, and the third, well, the Knicks as a team decided to stat pad because look, with a game this ugly and with the Magic luckily playing, or us playing the same amount of, I don't know who went down to whose level, but we won, so I guess we kind of went down to their level. But with them not playing as well as they did and their numbers looking as god awful as they look, it helps us out defensively, meaning that we are like first place in a bunch of defensive stats right now. I'm loving it. Now we are above 10 games. We're approaching the 20 game mark, and the Knicks are kind of still showing us who we are, who we aren't. It's looking like the defensive presence is who we are. As I've been saying in these past few videos while we've been on the losing streak, it looks like that we are a defensive minded team. That is our forte. That is what we're going to be going into, and it looks like the rest is gelling with the defense. It's nice to see. So I don't know, man, the conversation about to come up about how we're doing, but I'm gonna put that to the side because today we making sure that we show some love to my boy, the 20-year-old bust in the eyes of some of y'all, RJ Barrett, Rowan Barrett Jr. We showing some love to this kid today. Run the intro. What's good, CK Crew? It's your boy CK here, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. Also, be on the lookout on CK Hoops, a new video coming out over there today. But today on this video, we are talking about RJ Barrett because look, he's had a very up and down season, but as you guys know, I've been very adamant on the fact that that is a good thing. That is okay for RJ Barrett, the 3rd overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, to have an up and down season. Now, I have to preface this with the fact that the reason why I'm making this video and the reason why I'm addressing the uncertainty, I'm not going to address the hate because there's a lot of hate going on, and the minute RJ's been having these last few good games, they're disappearing so fast. I've never seen the Simpson meme in real life. That, you know, that Homer meme with him going behind the butt. It's real life right now. But I do want to preface this because, you know, for those who are a little bit envious, it happens to a lot of us. Every year in the draft, regardless of, even though you may be happy with the guy that you got, there's always somebody that you're like, damn, I wish the Knicks got him. And it's okay. People have that feeling. We're all human. We're allowed to have that feeling, okay? At least in sports. Don't do that in your relationships, all right? Don't be with somebody and claim you love them, and then somebody else walk down the street and you're like, damn, I could have been with Betsy Ross. The freak is Betsy Ross? What is this, 1970? So like I said, I want to preface this by talking about the guys ahead of him like John Morant and Zion Williamson. Obviously, people are excited about those two guys. You know, John Morant has already had superstar touch already with how he has changed the Memphis Grizzlies organization. You can sort of kind of say the similar thing with Zion Williamson on the Pelicans, even though he did have a back and forth year, even though his stats were great. But as far as his health and all these questions, and people have more questions than they had answers when it came to Zion. And even this year, he's been having a great year, but still people are very skeptical on Zion Williamson long term when compared to where everyone was believing he was going to be the next generation guy, blah, 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 blah. But the point of the matter is both of these guys stepped into their role and they produced immediately. But then here comes the number 3 overall pick, who is normally supposed to be clumped up in that bunch, RJ Barrett, who had a solid first year, didn't make it onto any of the rookie teams, so I guess it wasn't solid enough in the eyes of the voters. And then to start off this year, in the preseason, he looked like he was about to turn that corner, but then he had a ho-hum start. But then what really set the RJ haters off was his play during this 5-game losing streak. A little bit before the 5-game losing streak, but we'll talk about strictly the 5-game losing streak. In this 5-game losing streak, RJ Barrett averaged only 15.8 points per game and shot 39% from the field and shot a terrible 19% from the 3-point line. terrible 19% from the three-point line. And it wasn't like he just like missed a shot here or there. No, RJ Barrett in the losing streak. I got it pulled up right here. He went 1 for 5 in the first game against OKC, 0 for 3 against Denver, 0 for 5 against Charlotte, 1 for 4 against Brooklyn, and picked it up a little bit with Cleveland, going 2 for 4. He wasn't shooting it well from 3 in the losing streak. And the problem was then his field goal percentage took effect, because as you saw in one of them, he's shooting 5 threes for the game, and he's also shooting mid-range shots that just were not going. He was missing a lot of cheap ones around there. It just wasn't looking good during the losing streak, and it added to the offensive problems that we were having. Julius Randle was having some solid games. You know, we got Obi Toppin back later on. It was a lot of other things that were going on, but we need RJ Barrett, who is supposed to be one of the main guys of this team. We need him to step up. We go where he and Julius Randle goes. That's just the reality of the situation. And in those games, he was not doing well. So with that comes all of the, the conversations. RJ Barrett this, RJ Barrett that. We even know the famous clip that's going all around Twitter about RJ Barrett going to the G League. It was getting that bad amongst the Knicks fan base. But I kept saying the same thing between every single game, and this is not an I told you so moment. This is just to keep that positive energy with you guys, so you can see the ups and downs of a 20-year-old player, because with those bads will come some goods, and that is a very good sign, especially at 20 years old in your second year in the league on a team where you could possibly be given the reins at some point. Possibly, still yet to be seen, but possibly he could be the best guy on this team in the long run. Now, mind you, we're only on a 2-game win streak, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, in our 2 wins, RJ Barrett did this and that. I mean, he did play really solid in both of these wins against the Boston Celtics and in the Orlando Magic. Shot 45% or 46% from the field against Boston, 47 yeah, we could talk about all that, but I'm actually going to bring it back into the last 2 games of the losing streak and the last 4 games total for the New York Knicks, because I feel like he made that turn in the Brooklyn game that we don't talk about enough, because it was an ugly loss to a Brooklyn Nets team. Or, I mean, we brought it back a little bit, but to me it was still ugly because the game was terrible all throughout up until the last quarter. So to me, I still count it as an ugly loss. It was close, but I'm still counting it as an ugly loss. But I'm counting from then on is when RJ Barrett started to make that adjustment from settling for the 3-point line or, settling for jump shots, but going back to what makes RJ Barrett the person he is, and that's going to his Hall of Fame relentless finisher badge. For my 2K heads, you know what that means. I kept saying that in the live stream yesterday, because RJ Barrett, he's the definition of the relentless finisher in the NBA. We saw RJ Barrett in Brooklyn going to the rim a lot more, getting more free throw attempts. I mean, he's had games this season where he's had 8 free throw attempts, 7 free throw attempts, but just in the last 4 games alone, he had 6 free throw attempts, 8 free throw attempts, 4 and then 4. So he's getting to the free throw line at a good clip, and that's what I think RJ Barrett needs to do, especially with this year where he's making the free throws, shooting 75% from the free throw, and in the last 4 games, he's shooting 93% from the free throw line. He's stepping up every other angle of his game, and like I've been telling you guys, if shooting is the last thing to come and RJ Barrett is shooting his shot, I'm not worried about it. Everything else is stepping up. The rebounds. RJ Barrett averaged, 7.5 rebounds in the last 4 games alone. With the last 2 games, 11 rebounds against Boston, 10 rebounds against Orlando. Like I said, he's stepping up everywhere else. Steals, everywhere else. His defense. But what really brings the attention to a lot of you guys, and I understand it, is the scoring. What is he doing on the offense? And that's what I want to talk about with these last 4 games, because this is where you saw him step it up a bit. Now, as I mentioned, in the losing streak, he shot a lowly 39% from the field, 90% from the 3-point line. But within the last 4 games, even though the Knicks were 2-2 in those 4 games, that's when his stats really stepped up in the last 4 games. In the last 4 games, he's averaging 20.3 points per game, like I mentioned, 7.5 rebounds per game. And from the field, this man was shooting 50% from the field and 31% from 3. 31 is a big step to the 19% he was shooting in that losing streak. Big step up. Now, mind you, for the season, he's still shooting a very terrible 21.5. Baby steps is what we're talking about when it comes to RJ Barrett. That is what development is. Baby steps and finding your game within real game scenarios, and RJ Barrett is doing that right now. So you can see the changes that we're developing both on the offensive end as well as on the stat sheet. And it's really nice to see, and it's what you want to see, and it's what you should be expecting to see from RJ Barrett. Be patient with the kid, because like I mentioned, it's a long season, it's a long career. Year 2 in his career, 20 years old, and he's having these sample sizes, these games where he's shooting terribly, not doing things that we think that he should be doing, the things that he is known to be doing his entire career. And in the same season, he's not dwelling on it. He's not pouting about it. No, he's adjusting as the season goes on. And that is a good sign for a 20-year-old kid that is, like I said, that could hopefully be the future of our franchise. So before I'm here to say that RJ Barrett's back, the thing is, will this be his groove? Because we have a West Coast swing starting on Thursday where we're playing against some teams that have pretty solid interior defense. Golden State not included, even though Golden State does have the ability to be a solid interior defensive team with guys like James Wiseman, Kevin Looney, and, you know, Draymond Green. Regardless of what he's looking like on the stat sheet, you know he's going to be annoying in the paint. But I feel like there's ways to score around that. And the reason why I mentioned the paint more than outside and his jump shot is because that, like I said, has been RJ's bread and butter, and he's been doing a good job at adjusting to that part of his game in the NBA, a lot like he did throughout the entirety of his basketball career in high school at Montverde as well as Duke University. But this Western Conference swing is going to be a real test. We got, like I said, we have Golden State, we got Utah, not in that order because I think we put Portland before Utah. We got a few Western Conference teams that have interior defense, from Rudy Gobert to the Blazers, who have countless dudes that are big. At the same time, I know they got injury problems, so maybe that's another team that we can probably work around. But the last time we played the Utah Jazz in a game that we won, RJ Barrett played pretty solid, but didn't shoot the ball really well because, like I said, there's a lockjam in the paint, and that's something that he needs to figure out how to work around and making those shots when he's not in the paint. So I'm not going to dub RJ Barrett officially back, and this is who we're going to see. But what I do want to mention, and what I'm trying to get the point across, is the sample size that you're getting in these 15 games that you've seen from RJ Barrett. This is a great positive sign. From the lows to the low of lows to the highs, and to see RJ Barrett adjusting as the season goes on, that shows signs of somebody who is trying to get better, somebody that puts the work in to his craft, and somebody that I believe has the ability to be the leader of this team in the future. Does it have to be right now? No. Not everybody's dealt with the cards like Zion Williamson and John Morant, where they didn't have a choice. I mean, Zion Williamson is also paired up with other all-star players and more veterans on his team, where the belief is you're the number one overall pick. You need to go out there and compete for a championship right off the bat because you're a generational talent. And then, you know what? You can say the same thing about John Morant, who was given the keys to the team. Mind you, the team was not a great team, but you knew the team was his from the moment he came into the league. RJ Barrett didn't have that luxury. I'm not making excuses for him, just calling a spade a spade. That's all I'm saying. Everybody has different scenarios. Everybody has different situations. RJ Barrett, right now, we are seeing something that we don't get to see very often. We are seeing development before our eyes. And that's something that we need to praise and something we need to be more patient about, rather than going straight into jumping to the conclusion that this guy is a bust. Give him time. 20 years old. The stats speak for himself. The highs, the lows. But right now he's going through a high and he's going through an experiment. And he's doing a good job figuring out his game along the way. Be patient with RJ. That being said, you know I'm happy about RJ Barrett. I have a lot of belief, and I really think that he's going to be solid for us this year. I said at the beginning of the season, RJ Barrett, I expect him to be averaging around 19-20 this year. I did not have the rebounds where they are right now. I thought he would probably be like a 5 rebound a game guy, 4 assist kind of guy. Though right now, he's, like I said, stepping up on every spot of the floor except for the scoring. But that's going to come. That's going to come. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, Knicks fans. How you guys feeling about RJ Barrett so far? Like I said, there's a lot of lows, and a lot of you guys are not there. But are you still not sold on him? Are you more sold on him? What are your thoughts about RJ Barrett? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, let me know your thoughts about the last 2 games. If you want to see a VOD of the live stream where we watch the Magic game on Martin Luther King Day, Wednesday Night Knicks special edition, Martin Luther King Day Knicks, is on the channel. Go check that out. Show love over there. All right? You guys know the deal. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. New video over on CK Hoops, maybe on CK TV. Just subscribe to all the channels, hit the notification bell, and you might get more CK content. All right? Much love to all you guys, man. Let's get it. Catch you guys tomorrow. I'm out of here. All love. Peace.
Feeling like I won the lotto. Always taking trips with a new chick, asking where the time goes.